Hey everyone, and welcome back to the High Files podcast. You're here with your host Shannon, and I have another guest on today. But just quickly, it's our Christmas episode. So Merry Christmas, everyone. And I wanted to say a big thank you for listening and just supporting throughout the year. This year's been crazy. We knew it would be. And my guest today will tell me all about how we both thought it was going to be a good year, and it did turn out to be. And next year will be even bigger again. But my guest today, third time on the pod, first time since 2023, so we've got a lot to catch up on. And she's one of my teammates, one of my girls. It's Sian Bennett, New Zealand's newest Bikini Pro. How are you, babe?
Hello, I am well, thank you. Thank you again for having me on. It is a real privilege to be here again.
Third time's a charm, and so much to go through, because obviously we chatted about your goals, and maybe the last one I think we did touch on what you wanted to do and what you wanted to, experience in IFBB, and she's tick, so we've got to make new goals and talk about those. But 2 days before Christmas, babe, thank you so much for your time. Just quickly, how are you feeling at the end of the year? We'll dive into all the things, but how are you feeling? Like, how's your soul feeling at the end of this year?
Yeah, no, I am feeling very, very fulfilled, almost like overflowing capacity. But no, I'm feeling really, really good. Definitely am ready for a little bit of a break, a little bit of a holiday in like the work sense, and just pulling back training a little bit, probably pulling back the intensity, just needing that little bit of a reset. But like, yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a year. It's been such a cool year, mate. I'm so happy I got to see the whole thing just unfold, and then there's so much to talk about too, because there was a big season there. So, and I think everyone forgot how early it started, because even I forgot for a minute there, and I was like, oh my God, that's right. That was this year. Yeah. So let's go back. Let's start from the beginning. Yeah. 2025 prep. New South Wales, season A. What is she doing? She's going to Australia. We kind of let everyone know. And it seemed like just a bit, not even rogue. It was just like a bit like, oh, wow, like New Zealand's going to start taking Aussie now. Like, this is really, really cool. And then they did vice versa later in this chat we'll talk about. But tell us about that. Like, how did that come about? Like, why did you go, I'm going to do Aussie. I'm going to do one of the shows. Like, just tell us about that thought process and how you came into planning that.
Yeah, so I obviously did the 2024 season Waikato's Nationals, and the only two people who beat me were the two people who won their pro cards. So I thought, like, yeah, no, if I'm going to go for this, there's some things that I need to work on clearly to get that top placing. And having only done 2 shows, I wanted some more experience. So I didn't want to wait until the end of the year, because I knew that I had the density already. It wasn't, I didn't need heaps of time to grow. I just needed experience. And so I was doing my cardio one day randomly, and the season A Australia shows came out, and I just like forwarded it to Frank, and I was like, so how would like Sydney work? Like, could I do this? And he was basically like, if you're game, then I'm game. So that was basically it. I was like, yeah, cool. Let's go do it. Let's get some experience. I kind of just wanted to see how I stacked up against the Aussie girls. I wanted to get some more posing experience. I felt like that was an area I really needed to work on. And I also wanted to work on my conditioning as well. So giving that whole prep process another run. My first prep with Frank was a last minute decision to compete. I did that prep in 9 weeks with 10 kilos to lose. So that I wanted to give Frank and I a better set up for a prep. And so, yeah, going into the Sydney show, we had a bit more of a runway, which was great.
Yeah, a lot more of a prep. And then from that one to the next one was even longer and better. But why the Sydney show? Why not like Queensland, or, like, why did you decide Sydney?
It was literally like throw a dart onto the board.
Wow.
I was like, never been to Sydney. Let's go there. Let's go
see. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Okay, so what did you think? Like, what did you think of Sydney as well while we're at it? But also, what did you think about the Australian stage and that whole experience? Because I think a lot of girls would love to do what you did.
Yeah, no, it was a really intense, like, great stage, great setup, like a proper theatre, very similar to TOC just been. So you get that full, like, on-stage experience with the lights and the backstage and all the cameras and all the crowd, and everything was to the top end. So there was a few like organizational issues, I would say, with the Sydney show, and the fact that the tanning was on one side of the city and the venue was on the other side. We booked our accommodation next to the venue, obviously, like why would we book anywhere else? In which case we had to then rental car from one side of the city to the other 3 times for registration and for tan and then for top-up tan. It was an absolute logistical nightmare. I spent about 4 hours in the car traveling through Sydney there and back. Mike and I are not familiar with Sydney. It was obviously our first time there. And we just used the GPS and it took us through all the tolls.
Oh, wow.
We got back to New Zealand and got our toll bill. I kid you not, it was $500 in tolls and what we paid trying to get from like the tans to registrations to venues. It was it was a joke. It was a real joke. So that kind of sucked. The show, however, was run really smoothly. No complaints as far as like the logistics of the show day.
Yeah. And did they tell you where the tan was beforehand, or was it kind of like one of those last minute, like, okay, and now the tanning's here?
I think it was more last minute, which was lots of people were quite like, why would you do that? Like, why would you put it so far away? It's
Sydney, God, like it's I actually heard this morning on the news. It's the most tolled city in the entire world.
Oh yeah, I know. I will never drive there again.
I just couldn't live in Sydney. I know people love it. I just can't. It's just too crazy. We're Kiwis. We're from Hastings, both of us.
Yeah, I like it when there's like no traffic lights.
Just a roundabout on the odd occasion. Like, what do you mean? Tolls? Are you crazy? Oh, yeah. So tell us about that show though, like, because I feel like it was so quick for you, babe, because like you're only an open girl, you don't do other classes, and there was only that class. Like you're just out there for that one bit. Did you feel like you had enough time? I feel like the video you got of you was beautiful. Your posing was stunning. Do you feel like you got looked at enough and you got placed properly? Like, tell us about that kind of side of thing, like the judging.
Yeah. So it was a really interesting feel backstage. I definitely felt like an outsider there. A lot of the girls, because all their coaches were allowed backstage, they were standing one-on-one with their coaches. They were doing their posing and their coaches were like, oh, have another like 10 grams of honey. And like they were very intense. And I was just standing there by myself in my heels like, yeah, cool, I'm here by myself. And there was a few moments, where I felt very like an outsider. It was okay. Like I was fine. But yeah, definitely different vibes to New Zealand backstage, where everyone is sitting together and is really helpful and was like, well, do you need anything? Yeah, it was a totally different setup. I was the very, very last person on stage, like literally last of the last of all categories. And I don't know, like obviously the judges are human and I feel like they may have been a little bit over it by then.
Yeah, probably. It was late.
It was later than we expected. And so I got 3rd place, which a lot of people have said, oh, I don't know why you got 3rd. And they're like, why did you get 3rd? And I'm like, I don't know.
Tell you, like,
I don't know. It's just the way it is. It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It was definitely my best physique that I have produced. So I was super stoked. And I guess when you feel like you've reached your best, you don't expect, but you hope that will be rewarded in the same way that you feel like you look. And when you came 3rd and when when a lot of people also agree that maybe was that judging call correct or not, it places a lot of doubt in your mind about the judging. But looking back now, having actually reached my, a better level, I think, no, that wasn't my best. And maybe the judging call was correct. But at the time it was like, it felt like a real slap in the face.
Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah, especially because a lot of people, obviously the people in your circle are going to hype you up and, completely like agree with you and be like, yeah, no, like you should have got 1st, that kind of thing. But yeah, looking back at it now with fresh eyes, I can say, yeah, no, like the judging was just what it is. They were obviously looking for something, what the other 2 girls had.
Yeah, hindsight's a crazy thing, isn't
Yeah. Yeah.
it? Plays a part in the whole role. And my last question on the New South Wales show before we move into the next one, because there's lots and lots to go. But why didn't you do the Oz Nationals? I think we know, but just in case anyone wants to know, why didn't you continue to do the Nationals at the end of season A for Australia?
Yeah, it was pros and cons weighing up. I was like, I don't think I'm going to gain anything by doing nationals. The pro card, I didn't believe would have been rewarded to me. And yeah, it was just financial. I was like, it's another big cost. Because I would have had to come home to New Zealand, work, and then go back to Melbourne, which was going to cost thousands.
Yeah,
Had
no.
I got first and got awesome feedback, yeah, then maybe it would have been worth it. But the fact that I got third and Tony Doherty made a few comments backstage to me, I was kind of like, oh no, this would be an absolute waste of money.
Oh, Tony! God, he did. Oh,
You
well.
know, just comments like, "Oh, New Zealanders are not welcome to our nationals."
Oh, you little shit. Honestly, I don't know what's going. I think him and Mo need to have a sit down, have a cappuccino and sort some shit out, you know?
Yeah,
Oh God. Or we need Tyler Mannion to come and do some auditing over this side of the
yeah,
world. I say it all the time. If he come over, he'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
yeah.
Revamp, but honestly, so funny. But it's good to watch the Aussie season, the Aussie like IFBB, because it is quite different than New Zealand, and the judging is always really different, and what they award is always really different. And it's quite interesting to see some of the pros that they produce and how they haven't even come out and done their pro debuts, and some of them only just did their pro debuts, and it's like, let's go. I want to see more from Australia. I feel like a lot of the even classic physique, man. Like there's some Jackson Guerin like 2 years ago, bro. What do we like? Come show us what you got. I feel like they're really good, and we just want to see more of them as well. And more pro shows over there would be awesome. But that's just what we would like. Big requests from little New Zealand. But okay, so after New South Wales, there was a gap, quite a big gap before our season started, and Waikato was your first show. So talk to us about that. So what was the plan? You and Frank, like game plan after New South Wales? You probably had a bit of a fire in your belly to come back even better and get that W. Like what was that big plan between the New South Wales show and the before the IFBB New Zealand season started?
Yeah, so the New South Wales show was April,
Yeah.
and then it was October before
Mm.
our first sort of show. Um, and honestly, that was probably the roughest turnaround I've had. I think because the expectation was that I placed on myself, and I think maybe Frank had this idea too, that we would keep me pretty tight conditioning wise and just kind of ride that through. But I really struggled after the New South Wales show. I think because the outcome was not what I was expecting, and I felt Frank made a really good point. It was like you just felt betrayed a little bit. But I think because of the mindset that I was in, the fact that I felt like the placing wasn't fair at the time, I felt really disheartened, and because the outcome wasn't what I was expecting and wasn't what I felt like should have been rewarded, it was really, really shit time for me. And I really struggled with the reverse on that then because of that, because the mindset was not right. And I was really scared then to do the New Zealand show and go through that same experience of being like, I've produced my best and everyone's telling me that it's the best, but because it's subjective, the judges could still be like, it's not the best. Someone else deserves that pro card, or someone else deserves that placing. And I guess that's the really scary thing to do, is to put yourself in that position again. It's like sticking your hand back in the fire after you've been burned. And so, yeah, definitely was a rough turnaround. And I basically did tell Frank, I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm done. I'm done with bodybuilding. I'm out.
Oh gosh.
And Frank definitely had to talk me down off that cliff a few times, just because I also had a lot of diet fatigue by this point, because I'd done the New Zealand 2024 season, reversed through Christmas, and then obviously then went into the Sydney show prep. And then I was like, oh my God, I've like barely reversed and I have to start dieting again soon.
Yeah.
I was sick of being hungry.
Yeah.
I was sick of being tired, and I was like, I have to do this again. So yeah, it was definitely a moment of like, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. But then, yeah, Frank just reminded me, he was like, this is yours. Like, no one else is, you just need to do it and it's yours. Yeah, so Frank really backed me on that. And yeah, it was basically just like, okay, we're going for it. So pulled myself out of my little hole that I dug myself into mentally. And then, yeah, got into the New Zealand prep probably around August, started diving.
Yeah, cool. Couple months out, because what was October was the Waikato show, and it was your first show of the season for New Zealand. And everyone knows Waikato's a big one. It's always like quite close to nationals, so everyone's already pretty peaked and ready, and you kind of get the gist of what everyone's like. And you've also already seen the other the other regionals, so you kind of know who's won those, and like it's a good gauge of the season. Waikato is a really, really nice show to watch and to be a part of. Tell us about that. What was that show like for you? So you went into that probably with some weird feels, maybe. I don't know. Like, how did you feel like going into that show? Were you confident, or were you like, fuck, I don't know? Like, what was your mindset like?
Yeah, so I was originally planning to do Wellington, but I think about 10 weeks out from Wellington, I was still like, coming out of my rough patch. And so we were like, no, we'll push it out for another, I think it gave myself like another 3 or 4 weeks to get ready for Waikato's, which was good. So yeah, going into the Waikato show, I'd obviously seen every other show at that point, and I knew who'd won those shows, and I didn't know, unless there was someone random who I didn't know, there was no like, I didn't know anyone who was coming to do that show who had already won it overall. So yeah, I felt pretty confident going into that show, but also not naive enough to think that, here it is, like yeah, exactly,
yeah. No, that makes sense, and that's a good way to go into it, kind of just like, I kind of know what I'm up against and what's kind of come out, because you kind of know who's going to turn up, and it's kind of you get a gauge when you're in it, like we are. You just know what's going on, who's going to be there, and you can just know where you're kind of going to sit. And you did so well. It was such a good show. The natural show was before it, and like a lot of the other shows throughout the season. And it was a bigger show, the natural show. I feel like they had a lot more on the stage. And then you come out in the bikini, and it was pretty much just what Worthy Victory. It was pretty much just you and Frank and maybe G Pet, and just like it was really, really small. But what was that? Was it like, because you would have watched the morning show, like, oh yeah, cool, big crowd, and then your show comes about, and there's only like, just X amount of girls, and it's quite small. But what was it like stage presence wise and judging? Was there enough of you on there to battle that out? And what did you think the judging was like? Because we didn't get a live stream for Waikato, so we didn't really get to see anything.
Yeah, it actually feels like such a long time ago when I try to think about it now. But I obviously did the afternoon show, so I didn't come to the morning show at all. I stayed at my Airbnb, which was just up the road. So the show was in Tikawiti, which was like middle of nowhere, such a random place, but I will give them credit. The stage was awesome. The lighting was awesome. We had heaps of space backstage. It was actually a great venue. I just think it was just super random where it was, and it was a lot of driving for pretty much, for everyone had to travel to get there. And I think that was a little bit of a logistical issue, but other than that, it was a real good show. There wasn't a huge amount of people at all. Like the last 3 shows that I had done, they were like bikinis up next, and then you're like, okay, well, I'll be up in 2 hours then.
Open class.
You tell me half an hour, that means 2. And so I was kind of just like sitting on the ground, and then Mark backstage and Mo backstage were like, all right, get up now for bikini. And I was like, really? Like, really? They're like, no, you're up now. And I was like, holy shit, I hadn't even like pumped up. I was literally sitting down on the ground, getting myself all like set up for the next couple of hours. And they were like, nah, you're up now. So Frank was like, eat now. So I was like shoving LCMs into my mouth. Oh my God. I was literally on stage picking like food out of my mouth because it was so rushed. I was trying to get like the quickest pump up.
Yeah.
It was like they were very, very prompt with their timing, which was great, but it just wasn't what I was used to.
Oh, yeah, usually you've got heaps of time. It's all like you've got masters, juniors, you've got all the novice, and then it's like, no, look, straight up there, open class only, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you won the show, of course. You won that one, didn't you? Yeah, overall. I was like, for the whole thing, I've got to get a refresher. But how did you feel after that one? Like, was that like, I know not a huge, massive show, but it was still Waikato, and you still knew, I'm the winner of this show. I know all the other winners of the other shows, and the nationals, the natural nationals had invitations from anywhere in the world, but the standard nationals, the one that you did it right after, No, you couldn't. So it was only Kiwi. So you kind of know what you're up against. Like no one's going to come out. Everyone has to have qualified for nationals. So you're in a little bit more of a better place. I was at the natural nationals and I was like, who is this chick from China? Like, what is going on? Like, and she's funny. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, in your show, you kind of know what you're up against. So did you feel kind of like confident about national? How did you feel after that win? Just tell me how you felt about after that win.
Yeah, so after that win, it was a really nice confirmation to be like, yeah, no, I've done it. Like the judges are rewarding what I've produced, which is cool. I'm meeting the criteria. Their feedback was just to come in tighter, which like I knew we weren't trying to peak me for Waikato's. That obviously the goal was to peak for nationals. So yeah, we knew that I just needed to come in a little bit tighter, which meant just little less food, little more cardio, and a little bit more, changing with the water manipulation a little bit as well, just to make sure that we were, as tight as possible for nationals.
Yeah.
So yeah, felt really good after that. And then it was just a slide into nationals from there.
Slide into an easy as long as you get a proper pump up and some proper LCMs and some time, you're good to go. One more question on Waikato Chance before we move into nationals. What was it like having Frank backstage with you? Because, and I know you've had him backstage with you before and obviously nationals as well, but Waikato, like, could be one of his last regionals. He might only have one more before he's a pro because we're all, come on, Frank. We know it's going to happen. So it's kind of nice to take these moments in because we all know that one day, like you're a pro now, you can't go backstage with him again unless it's an open, so, and he's next. So it's like these moments are really small between us and they probably feel like little, flick at moments, but they're going to be things we remember forever. So did you have any moments backstage with Frank where you guys, I remember a selfie you guys had, or you're in your own zones where you're just like, focused, or what was the vibe like with him?
Yeah, no, I just sat next to him, but honestly, I was backstage for, it felt like 5 minutes before I was up on stage because Bikini was first. For Waikato's, I literally didn't get much time with Frank at all. He was kind of just like, oh, let me have a look, have a couple of LCMs, and then Mo's like, get up. And I was like, okay.
That's what I mean. It's so quick though, isn't it? Sometimes and you're like, you do get moments with, okay, so this is my advice, just a little piece for everyone next season. If you have a moment backstage where you're like, should I grab a photo with that person or should I just do it, man? Do it. If you have a second, do it because it won't come again. You won't be dressed like that again. You won't look like that again. You probably won't see that person backstage again. Just do it. It's so these little moments and they just like are so special. All right, nationals, girl. Far out nationals, man. Oh my God, I was crying, I was screaming, I was throwing all the things, But let's talk about the peak. Let's talk about the peak and then we'll talk about the moment. So what was the peak like? So obviously tightening up. Was everything going to plan? Did any hiccups happen in the peak week? Like, what was the peak week like for you for nationals?
No, so the peak week for nationals was probably the easiest peak week that I've done out of all the 4 shows that I did this last season. Basically, food stayed the same, cardio stayed pretty much the same. Just like a little bit increase and a little bit of a drop, but like really not that different. We didn't do any backloading or front loading or anything like that with my carbs. It was basically just keep it down, keep things as is. We don't rock the boat at this point. Like I was looking how the judges wanted me to look, just a little bit tighter. And so we don't need to do anything crazy or stupid at this point. So yeah, basically just had a little bit extra carbs on Friday night before nationals and then just carbs on Saturday morning. So really it was such a smooth, easy show for me. Yeah, that was the one.
I love that. Good positive vibes heading into it because you just do anything like day after day. It's a normal day. And so show day, what was show day like? Was it like, again, was it a normal day? Any of those show day hiccups? And like, you were, again, you're on a bit later in the day here. So like, what did you do all day as well?
It was, I actually love being on in the afternoon because I get myself set up. I have my makeup set up. I'm very like ritualistic with it. So I get up, have my coffee, have my breakfast, and then start on my makeup and then start on my hair. Everything is calm. I have like really relaxing, like fun music in the background. It's just, a really, really cool environment show day morning when you're in no rush. And Frank got dropped off there so that he was getting ready there as well. So that was really cool. So he just got to check on me every few hours or so. Zayla was there with us as well. So that was, it was just a really, really cool, relaxing morning. Yeah.
You. I love that. And then you head to the venue, you get backstage, you get yourself all set up, you know who's going to be there. What were the vibes like for your show? Because I did the show before again, just so I wasn't backstage when you were backstage, which I just wish I snuck back in there anyway. Just but what were the vibes like? Because we all know Barb was coming for her pro card too. She doesn't keep quiet about that. She ended up getting it eventually, which was really cool. But we knew that she had missed out and this is her last chance. And so you were in the overall with her as well. So was there any vibes backstage where it was a little bit like tense, or was it pretty chill, or was it like just everyone's just focused? Like, what was that vibe like for you girls?
Yeah, no, backstage was really cool. So the guys were upstairs and all the girls were downstairs. There were two separate rooms for the girls, and I was just in one of the rooms, obviously, and with a couple of the other WOV girls. And yeah, no, everyone just had their blankets out, some girls had their headphones on. It was just really, really relaxed vibes. And we were just chatting and laughing and talking about funny things, and just cool vibes, really fun. Like those backstage like hours or so are just really cool. Yeah. I didn't feel, and obviously I knew Barb hadn't won the morning show. And yeah, I was really gutted for her that some random person had just swooped in and taken it.
Oh, poor Barb.
I was really gutted. I was like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to get through your moment first because you're the most special. But they battled you, girl, far out. Like that overall, especially, they battled you, and it was really cool because I think they knew what they were doing, but they were just playing with their food, kind of thing. Like we kind of know, but we're just gonna fuck around a bit. And I like them when they do that because they want to work you. Like if you're gonna be a pro, you're gonna get work like a pro. Like let's see what you can do. Can you actually hack it? You did well, babe. Like your stamina, your posing, like you could hear us. I know you could because we'd yell at you, you'd be smart, you'd be playing up for us, and it was so cool because like your just personality came through, and everyone else looked like, oh my god, I want to win, and you're just like, fuck yeah. It was like just so nice because it was just like your vibe was there, and it wasn't like you knew you wanted to win, but you still personality was still in there. So what was that like for you? Did you feel like your posing did hold up well? Did you feel good? Were the judges looking at you? What was your perspective looking out from the side?
I think it's really funny that when I actually get on stage, I really like another side of me comes up. Stage lights hit my face, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah! Like this is cool." And so, like, I really do like. And it's nothing that I could ever practice. It's something that only happens when you hear the crowd screaming. You see the people's faces; those lights are like shining on your face, and you're just like, "Yeah, I'm going to take the spotlight.
I'm going to do it."
Yeah. So no, I felt really good up there, and like quietly confident. And I think leading into nationals, I'd done a lot of like visualization of that moment, and it was almost like in my head I was already living on the other side of that win. In my head it was mine. I just needed to do the necessary steps to get there, and so I felt really calm and confident on that stage and going into that show.
Oh, that's so cool. And then Kate awarded you the pro card. Obviously, the moment was really cool. And then you go backstage with Kate. And what did you guys do? Just scream for half an hour? Like, what happened?
I think, when Fuad awarded the pro card to me, it was kind of like that movie moment where the white noise comes in and everything goes silent. And like you can tell you're like screaming on the inside, but then also like you can't hear anything. I couldn't hear the judges, couldn't hear the music. It's literally just like that high-pitched screech in your head where it's just so surreal. Like your heart is thumping. And then Kate came over and handed me the pro card, and obviously because she'd been part of that journey and I'd let her, she'd obviously knew about my plans had I won nationals. We were both just screamed at each other, Hawaii! It was like a huge, almost like, I think that was the thing that had the hugest relief from, was like, I bought this freaking trip to Hawaii, and yes, I get to go now.
Yes. Oh my god, that's crazy. I don't think everybody knows. I think most people do, but I think not everybody does. Like, people taking each other's content, but not maybe every bit of it. So I don't think everyone knows that you had that plan. So let's talk about that, because that's so cool, babe. I love the confidence of it, but just like you said, you felt like you were living on the other side of the pro card. I feel like that's kind of an indicator that it's happening soon. Like you're already there, so you're like, it must be happening soon because I know how it feels on the outside. So you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like it's a close thing that you know is going to happen, and you knew that was going to happen because you made your plans. So you had TOC that was coming up right after, 1 week after Nationals, I believe, and then Shawn Rays was on the same weekend as Mo's as well. I think, same weekend. Yeah, it was very confusing. Yeah. So tell us about that. So when did you book all of the Shawn Rays and tell us all about that, babe. I want to know all about how you planned that out.
Yeah, so I made a vision board at the very beginning of the year with all the things that I wanted to do. It was someone holding up a pro card. It was some crispy tie-ins. It was all the things that I was like, I am going to achieve this year. Like, this year is my competing year. I'm going to put a few other things on the lower down on the priority list, like business and things like that. And number one, like, I am going all in on this competing. And then it must have been like a few months later, some Hawaii flights came up. Because on my vision board was Shawn Rays show, like the girls in the top 5 or whatever of the Shawn Rays show. And then Hawaii flights came up for sale. I think it was like $8.99 return.
So good.
And I was like, I walked out to the shed one day and I was like, to Mike, I said, can I book flights to Hawaii? And he was like, what for? I was like, for the show. And he was like, well, if that's something you want to do, like if that's where you see yourself being, then go for it. And I was like, okay. So I just booked them.
Oh,
yeah. And I told Kate and Frank straight away. I was like, so I have to get my pro card this year because I just booked flights to Hawaii.
So big job, guys.
Yeah, no pressure, but don't let me slip.
Oh my God, that's so cool. And so cool that your husband's such a good part of your journey. And I think people see him on your content and stuff like that, but it's just like, maybe I'll ask you about that. How much does he support you, and how much does he mean to your whole journey? Because we don't see the personal side of things, but it's so big, right? Like, you wouldn't be able to do it without him. Like, there's no chance. So maybe just tell us about how that dynamic does work, and like how much he does support you and stuff.
Yeah, so Mike and I have, I met Mike when I was 15.
Wow.
And he was 21. And for the first couple of years, all our parents and everything were like, you guys cannot be together. This is inappropriate, because I was not 16 yet.
Yeah, true.
And then when I turned 17, we officially got together. And so, yeah, we've been together quite a few years. We've been married 9 years coming up.
Oh.
And I guess Mike has seen... We've essentially grown up together. So we've seen each other go through all our different phases and all our different hobbies and everything. And I guess Mike can see how much happiness and how much drive and how much love I have for bodybuilding. And so, like, why would he ever pull that away from someone, despite the sometimes the sacrifices that come with it? Because I think he can see that the outcome is better than not doing it and feeling like you're not living up to your potential.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So, he's there all the way. I train early in the morning so that I don't miss out on time with him and my daughter Esme. And he's just a good sounding board. He's just the solid rock at the back who's just helps me keep going. He does my tan for me.
Love it.
He's great.
He's good at tanning too, because it looks
good at tanning. Yeah, he's a good spray painter.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Like, this is a tradie anime. It comes out. Oh, I love that, mate. That's so cool. And it's just really cool to see your journey together, like you and your little fam, and just getting out and doing it. And they came with you to Hawaii. Well, actually, did Esme go to Hawaii as well? She did, didn't she? Yeah, that was so cute. A little trip, make a trip out of it. And we'll get into Shawn Rays shortly. We've got TOC first. That was the first one. So 1 week you got your pro. It must have been such a crazy time. Like, just bang, bang, bang. So much going on that you probably just have to ride the wave. I don't know, but maybe you can tell us about it. But 1 week later, TOC, you'd already said, forget my pro card, I'm going to that. I'm pretty sure Mo would have been straight up, Shawn, are we doing it? Yeah. We know what he's like. That's not a bad thing. It's just what he does. So let's talk about that. What was just talk about everything about that, I guess. Like, did Mo come and see you? What was the plan on peaking? What was the feedback from the judges? Like, what did you want to bring to TOC, your first pro show? Crazy.
Yeah. So feedback was to come in tighter.
Okay.
Same
All
again.
right. Yep.
And I think I had such a high from winning that pro card, and a lot of things just like suddenly coming together. It was a very, huge moment to get that moment to win that pro card. I had a real like dopamine crash the next day.
Right.
I felt really, really flat and really not sad or anything, but just, really flat. It was kind of like a hangover almost, like a dopamine hangover. And so then we drove back to Napier on the Sunday. And then Monday morning, Esme fell off the dog crate at
Yes.
home and broke her wrist.
I forgot about that. Oh no. Oh.
So it was the smallest fall, but the way she screamed and the way she grabbed it, I thought, shit. And we have Hawaii in 2 weeks. So I literally scooped her up in her jammies and took her down to the local city medical. And they x-rayed her and they were like, I'm so sorry, but she's broken both bones in her forearm.
No. Oh,
So she's going to be in a cast, and she refuses Panadol and ibuprofen. So she refuses any of that. So she was like quite sore that day. And it just really, like, my heart was hurting for her, obviously being a mum. And so the stress levels were literally like above my eyeballs. That it really threw my whole week out, because then she couldn't go to kindy for that whole week. So it meant that I had to reshuffle everything as far as like getting cardio down, meal prepping, and, just all the stuff that comes with a peak week. I had to then do that with her, obviously, which is a lot harder. You can't go getting 15,000 steps a day with a 4-year-old. That week was definitely the hardest week for me. I was tired also. I had just done 2 shows. I was coming off that high, and then I was also like, I have to learn a pro routine now, because I haven't done a pro routine, and I'm getting up on a live stream stage with pros now. The pressure that week and the stress levels that week were really hard.
And then you've got to go to Palmy for this next show as well. Like, no shows at all were in your hometown, just in case anyone wants to know. Like, nothing happens in Hastings except for ICN, okay? So one day we might get one there, who knows? But so you go to Palmy, and then you got this trip down, you got this show here, pro debut, which is like enough pressure on its own. Like, some of these girls doing the show that you did have spent 2-3 years prepping for their pro. Like, it's crazy how much effort goes into the pro debut, and fair enough, as it be. But this was your plan, and you did it, and you nailed it, and you still went to do it. You followed through, basically. And that's what I love about you. You always follow through. And you always get it done, and it doesn't matter. You just make it happen. And you did amazing. So let's talk about TOC. Pro debut at home. So nice you could do it at home as well. So, and before Shawn Rays, you got that little warm up on the home stage. Talk us through the show day a little bit. Like, obviously different than a just like an amateur show, NPC show. What were the differences that you noticed from one show to the next? You've got your pro card that was different than the next weekend. And then we'll talk about your placing and everything else that went on in the rest of the show.
Yeah, so we had the pro athlete meeting on the Friday, which was really cool. All the pros got together, and Mo and Fawad and Shane gave us a big talk and gave us some goodie bags, and were basically just really hyping us up. It was really cool. I felt very, very special. They definitely made us feel like a pro athlete. That was really cool. Kate and I and Frank were staying together. And so Kate and I, on the next day, like show day morning, just got up and got into our ritualistic of doing our makeup, doing our hair, getting our tan done, beautiful music playing in the background, just having a really cool morning together. We arrived to the venue. Well, one of the really cool things about TOC is that they said to us, you will be on stage at 2:00 or whatever the time was. And they said, we will pull people off the stage and make sure that you are on time at 2:00, which was really cool and really great for pumping up and carb timing as well. Makes a huge difference when you know that when they say you're going to be on stage, you are on stage at that time. That's so invaluable, and huge respect to the people running the show to make sure that actually happened. That was really cool. When we arrived on the show day morning, they had us pro bikini girls upstairs in our own dressing room, like a proper, like what you imagine the Hollywood backstages. I would like the little like little lights
The
above.
lights around
Yes, you know what I mean?
I
Like
I remember seeing that, yeah. Oh.
and they had goodie bags lined up for each of us with like headbands, and Georgia had put some real like cool things into it. We had the whole space to ourselves, our own toilets, and our coaches were obviously allowed up there as well. Yeah, they just really went above and beyond to make us feel like pros. It was cool. It was definitely like one of those shows that you won't forget.
No, that's so cool, babe. I love that. So, and speaking of you staying with Kate and like all that, you were competing against your posing coach. You're competing against your friend, one of your good mates, Kate. Like that's so crazy in itself. You know how there's just so many things that happen in these couple of weeks, and it's like I don't even have a second to like absorb that part. Like that's wild in itself. Like she's an Olympian, you know, and you've got Alexandra. She's an Olympian. So what was that like? Like competing with Kate? Was there any moment where you're like, I'm gonna ruin you, you know? How do you manage that? Because you're so competitive.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I think going into the TOC show, I really had no expectations. I didn't really care how I placed. Like obviously slight competitiveness, like you obviously want to do well. It wasn't my show, if you know what I mean. Like I knew in my head, I was like, this isn't my show. This is actually Kate's show. And I'm just here for the ride. But I was scared at one point if I got like put into the center that she would push me off stage or something.
Get out
of my place. No, we joked about that, but no, I was it was really cool. It was cool being on stage with those girls and being in a pro lineup and having to work. They freaking worked us and I loved it. It was so good. I was like, yes, like I feel like we get to put on a show here. This is cool.
Yeah, you guys got absolutely work. Like I did the editing of the videos, you know, the live stream, like they kind of edit it, cut it up, 45-minute pre-judging. Like it was just crazy. Even if you weren't on the stage getting worked, you were on the side of the stage and you had to look good. Like, because there's only 13, 14 of you, like you have to stay on. It was crazy, babe. Did you feel prepped in terms of like with your posing, because you're obviously new routine and like you are getting worked a lot more than what the amateurs do? Did you feel like I was prepared enough for that, or was it like, fuck, I need to work on that some more?
No, I felt really good going into it. My lower back was like achy as hell after. But it was all good. It was fun. It was a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, good practice for the next one.
Yeah. I felt like a pro up there.
Oh, I love that, babe, because you already were. We're already there. Mindset was already in it. And 7th place in your first pro show, babe. Not bad, girl. That was good. And like we were just talking about Olympians. So you got Jamie Wu, who's so seasoned, man. She's like a seasoned chicken breast. Like she's been out there. Obviously Alexandra Brander. You've got like all the Aussies were there, like crazy. Lily, like all the girls were there, and a lot of pro debuts, which was really cool. But how did you feel about 7th place? Were you okay with that? Like, were you like, oh, fuck, I should have been top 5? Or were you just like, no, this is just my starting point and I just work my way up from here? What was it, optimistic or pessimistic? What was your mindset like?
Yeah, no, I felt really, really stoked with 7th, obviously, first pro show. I felt like I could have placed higher I was a bit watery that show because of the cortisol. And I knew that I had more potential. I had the potential to place higher had the circumstances been different. But at the same time, I didn't really care. I was just stoked to be there, you know?
I love it so much. So good, babe. And last question, like for anyone, if they were going to do another pro show, TOC, Shane was going to do it again, what would you tell all the Bikini Pro athletes in New Zealand and everywhere else? Would you tell them to do it? What would you tell them?
No, absolutely. Yeah. Like it's a no-brainer to go and do that show. You get looked after so well. And yeah, the stage was beautiful. The backstage was beautiful. Pami, yeah, it's a great show. You'd be silly not to come and jump on a stage like that in New Zealand.
Yeah. If we do it again, I want to see 20 minimum, hopefully.
Yeah. That's an opportunity to get that stage time again. Yeah. And it's a Olympia points qualifier as well. So
yeah. There's been a few people say that if I did it, I would have placed high. So maybe if there's another one, let's see it.
Exactly. I love it when people are so quick to say, oh, I would have won that show had I done it. I'm like, well, let's see you do it then. You actually, put the proofs in the pudding, baby.
Exactly. Let's see you do it. Let's see you do any show.
Yeah.
But it's just, and actually a few people said that. So probably people are thinking I'm saying one thing about nut that came out a few times. So just if you kind of can't say it because there's no way for that to be taken well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just do it. The proof is always in the pudding with the bodybuilding. And you are exactly a good example of that, babe, because then a week later, you took the seventh to a fourth, girl. Holy crap. In Hawaii, which is like, it's just a bigger show because they've been doing that for a lot longer. The TOC Pro Show, first time ever doing it. Shawn Rays done it for years, man. And they had their reigning champ Eureka there. They obviously, you always had the Kiwis there. There was Nicole Tan was there. She competes a bunch, like Kerrigan Pike. So many girls that were just like seasoned athletes, you know. So this is a little bit different because the TOC was a lot of pro debuts. Now you're jumping in with like, okay, now we're in the pro league, like we're international. We've got Shawn Rays here, Olympia. We've got all the judges. So what was that like? You obviously landed in Hawaii pretty close to show day. I think it was Thursday. Like,
So I landed, show was on the Saturday and I landed Thursday morning because that was just the flights that I booked. So I worked like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we flew out Thursday night. So we left, it was a red-eye flight, so we left at like 10 p.m. at night. We had Esme with us this time, which was something new. And that was actually such a good flight. We got the Sky Couch. Shout out to Holly. She works for Air New Zealand, and she's like, I'm going to talk to the cabin staff and make sure that you get you get looked after. And she really did. So I paid for the Sky Couch. So Esme and I had the Sky Couch together so we could put her to bed, and they managed to move Mike to a different spot where he had like the exit row. So he had heaps of space. And so I actually got some good amount of sleep on the plane, and Esme had a good amount of sleep. So we landed in Hawaii feeling like relatively fresh. One thing that I did really differently between the TOC Hawaii, because I asked Fawad, I always ask the head judge straight after a show, what's my feedback? What do you want to see? And yet again, come in tighter. Yeah. So I actually introduced the sauna this time round.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Made a huge difference to my physique. And then landing in Hawaii, it was hot, it was humid, and I got so freaking tight over there. It was so good. I was like, finally, I had crispy tie-ins.
Oh my God. And it did work, babe. You looked real tight at that show. So obviously that was your best package, you feel, in like terms
Absolutely.
of like, and the results showed as well with the fourth place.
And I think also I had now sat in that level of conditioning for about 4 weeks now. And so my body was kind of like relaxed into it, and just a few little tweaks here and there with Frank just really worked in my favor.
Yeah, definitely.
I went into that Hawaii show feeling good.
And looking good. Holy crap. I was like, oh my God. And they were so happy they did a live stream with that, and a free live stream on YouTube. Shawn Rays, all the tits. I love you. He's so good. And it was just, you just looked great. Like, and all I heard about after that show was just who is that? Who is that? What is this? Like,
what is that?
Yeah, what is this? The specimen. Like, honestly, everyone was just like, she's so beautiful. Like, the same sort of reaction that you get with Kate. You know how Kate went overseas and everyone was like, who is this? And
where did this person come from?
Yes, and you got the same result, but like, obviously incredible physique, but just the whole package. And like, this is a reason why Maureen just won. So like, this is like something that you don't make in the gym or buy, you know, you have to have it, and you have that. And it's really cool that the judges saw that, and people have been talking about that on podcasts and stuff like that. Like, your name is getting out there a little bit. That's really cool. After just, you know, you did Pro Card, Pro Show 1, Pro Show 2, and now you're a name in people's mouths. Like, that's pretty cool to hear, hey?
Yeah, very surreal. And do you know what the funny thing is that I was standing backstage of that Hawaii show, and my expectations for what I was going to place was even lower for the show compared to TOC. I really was just like, I am here for fun. Like, this, I'm in Hawaii and I'm competing as a pro. Like, I don't care that I have reached the pinnacle. This is great. Yeah. And so I was standing backstage, standing behind all these pro girls about to go on, and they were like really intensely like pumping up, and they had like their little minions with them running around them and everything. And I was like, excuse my language, but I was like, I'm fucked. These girls are insane. I'm going to come dead last here. Like, I was looking at their glutes, like they are dense. They were like shredded. I was like, yeah, we are in a different league right now. And then when I got pulled out into that like top 3, top 4, I was like, I don't know if you could even see it on my face, but I was like, what the fuck is happening? What is happening? Like, why am I here in the middle?
It's so cool. And did you feel like after that happened, you know how you got like those first call outs and all that kind of came around, and it was like I was screaming because like all the Kiwis were there, and I was like, oh my God, like because I think they called out Rochelle Light, and I was like, oh my God, yes, all of them, that's all three of them in the top 5 call outs sort of thing. Did you feel like after that, and when they compared you a little bit, did you kind of get a bit of confidence, like maybe I'm in top 3, top 5? Like, did you feel that like after that round? Yeah.
I felt like after the prejudging, I was like, definitely sitting in 4th place. And I was like really hoping to battle my way up into 3rd. I definitely felt confident enough that I could do that. That was also the first show that Frank and I have done where I was on in the morning. And so I was definitely not carved up enough and definitely not pumped up enough for that morning show because I'd been getting ready since like 4 a.m. to get my hair and makeup done to get the tan because the show started at 8 a.m. and they said you will be on stage at 8:30 or something in the morning. And so it's really hard to get enough carbs in that time frame while you're still busy getting hair, makeup, and making sure you don't like mess up your digestion by eating like, 10 rice cakes at once. And so, I definitely was flat that morning show. And by the afternoon, we went back to our Airbnb. It was not till like about 4 or 5 hours later, we came back for finals. By that point, I was full and looked about 5 times bigger than what I did in the morning. And I was really hoping that would be enough to then, switch me out into that 3rd place. Unfortunately, it wasn't, but I was still like, super stoked with how I looked in the afternoon. I was like, that was my peak. Like that was when I looked the best. Yeah.
And it's just good to know, right? Like there's such good experience for your next show.
Exactly. Yeah. It's good to know that, I do need to really get that food in and really give it a good pump up to actually change your shape because it really does affect when you're at those low body fat levels, like every gram of carbs makes a difference.
Yes, you can see it all. Yes, definitely. And I think I heard Rochelle maybe had the same sort of a thing, or she just said the same, like, it was a bit later in the day that I started to feel like I was fuller, so that definitely makes sense, something to take home with you and learn about for next time. And I mean, now that you can go into your next pro show, you'll be like, sweet, ready. 2 a.m. I'm up. I'm ready to go.
Hard out, And I got some awesome feedback from that show. Tim Gardner came backstage straight after the show and gave everyone their feedback, which was like, gave all the pros their feedback, which was super cool. He basically said to me that I would have placed higher had I been fuller in the morning. And I was like, okay, well, he's like, you just needed to eat more. And I was like, oh, well, that's an easy fix.
Sweet, done. I can do that. Yeah. And I heard they didn't judge a lot of the finals. So if they had judged it a bit longer, maybe you would have got change of placing. But it's just good to know and good that they're really transparent and awesome. And Tim Gardner is awesome as well, and Shawn and all of them. So as a show, you would recommend and like you were happy with it?
Absolutely. And plan is hopefully to try and do that again next year.
Oh, yes. Ooh, let's go 7, 4, 1.
Yeah. We just go up.
So because you've got a 4th place, did you get Olympia points?
Yeah, I think I did.
On the board. So good. Even it doesn't matter what you get, babe. 1, 2, 5, like they're all counted. And it's just nice to be on the board. Like
that's true. Yeah.
On the way, girl. Like not everyone can even just get a point. Like it's so hard. And I was listening to Terry Calgindi, he's a judge for IFBB, and he was talking about on a podcast. Some people compete for their whole life and they'll never get a point, or they'll never get a top 5, and they compete for 30 years. And like he's like, we need those people, unfortunately, but some people do it and they never ever get, and you've already got there, babe. So it's a really, really cool feat. And we'll talk about everything else that's going to happen next. So I've got some Instagram questions for you, but just before we do that, I wanted to get into some life things that aren't bodybuilding related. Okay. Because you're the most fascinating person in my life. So I need to know everything. How does your brain work? And can I borrow it for a minute? I want to talk about business because you're a boss. Like you're such a boss. Like you get everything done. I don't know how you do it. You're so good at what you do. Your clients love you. You've just leveled up your business. You've been doing it a long time now. You have. I've been watching it. Let's talk about it. So maybe for the people that don't know, ladies, gents, everyone gets these things done, and I love it. Shout out Frank. But can you tell us what you do for your business, just for the people that might not know, and what are the big changes you're going through right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a nursing background. I used to work in acute medical and then went into the operating theatre. had my daughter and didn't want to go back to shift work. And then a job at the Casey Clinic came up. So I went and started there and doing aesthetic medicine. So which is like Botox and fillers and skin treatments. I worked there for a couple of years and then decided to go out on my own in 2023, I think it was. And just rented a room basically in a medical center. So yeah, that was the best decision of my life, hands down, going out on my own and becoming my own boss, and was something I never intended or like thought was on my path. I always just thought I was going to be a shift working nurse. And so when I finally got into that position of running a business, I was like, yeah, no, this is cool. This is great. I love it. This is cool. And yeah, have been running with that.
I love it, babe. So cool. And you're so good at what you do. I see all your like testimonials and things from people, and people like come, like it's such an important, because it's a service-based thing. You have to do such a good job of it. And obviously it's on people's faces. They're going to come back and things like that. And I know that I'm from Hawke's Bay. It's a small place. Everybody talks, so your reputation's everything. So has that helped you like sort of move into your new little venture? Are you talking about that openly, or is that just a quiet secret? Okay, good. I didn't know if it was just a close friends thing on Instagram, or is this actually open knowledge? Because like I might be sharing like things that might not be coming out. But you've just leveled up. So you've moved from your little space, or you're moving from your little space, and you're going to go into your own space. So tell us about that. That's huge, especially after just getting your pro card. How did you manage that?
Yeah, so I've definitely reached capacity in my little space that I am sitting in now. I am like fully booked with pretty much most weeks. And yeah, basically I was just like, if I want to make this business grow, then I need to go into a bigger space and bring other people in with me as well to help me. So I finished the competing this year, and then I put out into the universe, I was like, I want to find a new place for Elizabeth Clinic in the next like 18 months. I was like, I'm super open to it. It's got to be the right place, got to be the right fit, right size, everything. And then about a week later on Trade Me new lease, I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go have a look at it. 100 square meters. It's freaking huge. Great location, modern, clean, tidy. And I put in a real cheeky offer and they accepted it. And so, 30th of January, we'll be getting the keys. My poor husband, I said, look, I've got your next job lined up for you. So we've got about 8 weeks of renovating to do there. So we're going to redo all the floors. We're going to redo all the rooms. We've got to go through building consent to get new sinks put into the clinic rooms. And so hopefully opening around Easter weekend, I'll do an opening night.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Babe. Oh my God, you've only just finished the bathroom, haven't you?
I mean, we haven't quite finished the bathroom.
Next job.
I said to my girl, I was like, so I've got your next job lined up for you.
Oh, he's game, I'm sure of it. He's probably like, yeah, let's do it. It's only going to bring bigger things for you as well. So that's so cool, babe. Congratulations on that. It's massive. Like, it's so huge. And like from 2023 to 2026 is when this change will be. That's 3 years. That's so awesome. So really, really cool, babe. And if anyone's down in the Bay, Elizabeth Clinic, or go see Sian Bennett, and if you need any work done, so I'll be down to see you soon, babe. I keep telling her that, and I'm like, I'm trying to hold out as long as I can, but
I think one of the coolest things about this space, though, is that because it's so big, there's going to be a big open space at the front. Cool. And the plan is to hopefully hold sort of seminars or women's nights, or maybe like even like IFBB focused posing as well, because the whole wall is going to be mirrors. So yeah, definitely want to work into that sort of space as well. So it's cool that I've got those options now with this space.
Yeah, anything community focused around that. I'm all about it, girl. I'll come down with my camera and get some.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, on another topic. So that's business. We've done bodybuilding, business. Next thing, mum. And this is something I always think about, because I've chosen not to have children. A lot of people know that. This is not for me. But I just look at mums like so much like respect and like admiration for it, because I think it's such a huge role. Like, it's the biggest role you can ever have in your whole life, and a lot of women get things done, and real good mums and like awesome boss mums, like baking, all of the things that you do, sourdough on repeat, all of that. But usually they let themselves go. Like 9 times out of 10, they don't look after themselves. They look after everyone else, and everything else is done, but they don't get looked after. So a bodybuilding super mum is like how what do we do? do you smoke crack in the weekends? Like, what are we doing to get all of this done, babe? Like, how do you do it? But I know you're a little bit OCD, sort of ADD, sort of like a little bit like I need to get things done perfectly. And I know you're a bit like that. So maybe that's what it is. But how do you feel like you do execute what you do? Because it is rare. Not everyone can get things done all the time, and it can get to your mental health and all that. So how do you feel like you keep up with everything and be a good mum at the same time?
Yeah, I guess it's not something that I just switched on overnight. It's something that I've sort of built myself up to. Capacity is something that you can stretch of yourself. So what I can achieve now is not what I could have achieved 5 years ago. Like your ability to get shit done and be efficient is something that you can teach yourself just by stretching yourself a little bit every single day. So yeah, I write lists and I really have a priority list in my head as well of like what is the most important thing. I'm constantly thinking about like my week ahead. I'm always thinking like if I get this done on that day, then I can get this thing done on that day. Just being super organized. Lots of communication. Mike and I have a calendar in our kitchen where we write things down that are happening and coming up. And then I guess I just make it sure that my bodybuilding gets fit in there. It's not something that comes last on the list. It's something that I do make a priority, even if it does mean waking up at 4 o'clock to get it done before everything else. That's a sacrifice that I'm willing to do, because if I didn't do that, if I didn't fit the bodybuilding in, or just exercising and moving my body, everything else is going to suffer because of that, because I won't be feeling my best. It's just not going to be my best version of myself if I am letting myself slip. And so I'm a more present mum. I get more enjoyment out of the other parts of my life. And I think what I've discovered as I've got older and now in my 30s, I don't want to be just one thing. And I think that it's where a lot of people can get really caught up in the bodybuilding scene as well, is that you just think you see your identity as a bodybuilder, and anything, if that was to be taken away from you, then what are you? And I think that's a really huge identity issue that people can run into with sports like bodybuilding, is because it does become so consuming that when that is taken away, then what is left? And so that's something I've really worked on, is making sure that I have all these other aspects to my life to lean into. When one thing maybe is a bit harder, then I can lean into other areas. And I feel like when I'm a better bodybuilder, I'm then a better mum, and then I'm a better partner and a better businesswoman, rather than just focusing everything into one area, then everything else will suffer as well.
Yeah, or just doing like your best with everything. It's like, no, I'm going to do it properly, and then that way it gets done, right? Instead of like just trying to catch up all the time. I feel like people get stuck in that. Like, I'm just going to just do the bare minimum, and then that way I can get to the tomorrow, and but are you big on like delayed gratification? Like, you like the feeling of like, yeah, yesterday, Shawn, you did that, girl. Like, like you like those feelings?
Yes, yeah, definitely like to look after my future self.
I'm about that. She's more important than today's version. Really is.
Yeah.
And it's something that also Frank, I don't know if anyone knows if they're on the team or not, but Frank really instills that into you, that you're not just a bodybuilder, because there's been many times where I'm very obsessed. We all know that. I've got a podcast. I'm doing I'm obsessed with bodybuilding, and he pulls me back sometimes. So I think that's quite instilled in the team, is that we're not just bodybuilders. You have another life, you have other identities, because like you said, if you take that away, if you get injured or, something happens and you can't bodybuild, you feel like there's no purpose to your life, and that's not a good place to be. So
exactly.
Yeah, I love what you said there, babe. It's so important.
And I feel like it makes you a better bodybuilder when other aspects of your life are better too.
Yeah, and a better person all round, hey? Because no one likes just I'm just a bodybuilder. Like, you need more personality to you. Like, you got to be something, we can all love it passionately, but just, keep that balance, right? On another note, one more note on that before we get to the Instagram questions. Sorry, babe, so many things. Are you still coaching? Because I know you're doing Elizabeth Clinic, you're pro now. Are you still coaching women? And if you are, can people still work with you in that area? And how do they do that?
Yeah, no, I've definitely closed that chapter of my life.
I thought you might have. I was like, how? Can you do that?
Definitely Elizabeth Clinic is my baby, and I'm putting all my energy and effort into that side of things. Yeah.
Nice, babe. You can always come back to that another time if you ever needed to, but right now, business is where it's at. Yeah. Nice, babe. Okay, cool. So Instagram questions. We actually had a few in here. Things that I was going to ask you, but I thought it would just save it for this, because the girls and the guys have got into it. I kind of asked you this one, but let's just touch on it again. But what was the biggest differences, maybe the key differences between the New Zealand Nationals and the New Zealand Pro Show?
I guess it was just the routine, but as far as the physique goes and the peak goes, there was nothing really different. Obviously, I wanted to step on that national stage looking like a pro, and so to then step on as a pro, there shouldn't be any difference.
Same execution, same job done.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe just like the logistics behind the stage, like you actually got put on when you were supposed to go on, and all those good. It's all positive stuff, isn't it? It's all good things.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Will you change coach now you're a pro?
No.
What are you gonna say here? Look at what.
Did Frank ask that question?
I actually can't remember. I think it was one of our teammates though.
No.
I was like, teasing you.
No. I don't know what I would get from another coach that Frank doesn't provide.
Yeah.
And I even find it funny when people don't, I don't know, in my head, I'm like, why would people not pick Frank? Like, he's not an Olympian bikini. If that's the direction you want to go, like, clearly he knows the way.
Exactly. And someone asked this for Chantel as well in my last episode, and I was like, it's funny how people think that you go pro with your coach and then you're going to let that coach go. He got you pro. Like, there's a good reason to stay, probably, see how it goes. But people always just want to know the tea, I think. So no tea. She's staying. And Kate's going to stay as your posing coach as well?
Yeah. I think at the level that posing I'm at now is Kate's kind of just like a really good oversight for me. I feel pretty like confident in myself. It's just nice to get that like feedback.
The eyes on you just to make sure.
I
would just ask this, who does your posing now and how often do you change it? But obviously it's Kate, but maybe how often do you change it?
So I think I'll like kind of keep the same routine per season. So like coming up for my next season, I would probably keep the same routine and then maybe switch it up later in the year if I felt like it needed switching up.
Yeah, people think you need to switch your routine like quite often, hey, and they always tweak it. And every time I get on stage, it needs to be new. But I feel like some people, like Laura Lee's, is quite consistent. Like a lot of people are very consistent. And do you prefer the consistency routine, like to get really good at it, or do you like the change?
I like a little bit of change, I guess, in the fact that if you felt like there were areas of that original routine that weren't as good. And I feel like every show you can bring a slightly different personality and persona through the same poses. So eye movements, hair flicks, like tempo, you can really play it up with the same movements. Yeah,
and a different sign off or something, it just changes a little bit.
Yeah. But like, honestly, posing just, I feel like some people go a little bit OTT with the posing. And like, it's a bodybuilding show. This is not a pageant. Like, yes, you can flare it up a little bit, but I think like hit those mandatories and that's what you need to be doing.
What the judges are looking for, they're only waiting for you to hit your front pose instead of like, okay, she's doing that. Yep, sweet. Is she there? Is she there? She's there. Like, they're waiting for you to get there, eh? So just a little bit less, just for the newbies, it might be like, I want to do a dance. It's like, let's keep it simple. and you'll have less to remember as well, which is so good, trust me. This is a question that I had last week with Chantel, but I've kept it for you because I think it's important. And it might be a different perspective because she's like a junior, so it's a completely different vibe for us ladies. But what do you experience hate online and how do you deal with it if you do?
I haven't experienced any hate, which is really nice. I guess I think what I've found is that when you are fully authentic online, there's nothing that people can come at you for because you're like, I own it. Like,
it's me.
This is who I am. Like, if you want to come for me, then I don't know what you're coming for because it's me. Like, there's no fakeness to my social media. I don't edit my photos. I don't give on some, like, I probably swear a little less than what I do in real life. But other than that, like, I am who I am. And if like people can see that through my social media, so that I don't know what.
Love that. That's good, babe. And same as Chantel, she didn't get any hate either. And very similar. She's just puts out herself, she's very much herself as well. So someone asked this question, which I actually have thought about a couple of times, but do you miss FMG or WBFF?
No. No, I watched that. I watched the last New Zealand FMG show and I was like, not for me.
Not for me.
And also I just feel like IFBB, there's always room to grow. Like, you can win Miss Olympia and guess what? You still need to come back better because there is still more you can do. Whereas I feel like with FMG, no hate, but it's only going to take you so far.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've got to come up against Lauren Simpson at some point. So good luck. I mean, not Lauren Simpson, Tani.
Yeah.
So good luck, everyone. She'll have to die for you to get that spot. Sorry, she's going down with it. She's going down with the throne. It was funny because in my episode with Juan, Galvin Fit, anyone who remembers, the newest men's physique bro, he was going to do FMG. I don't know if you heard that in his episode.
I did, yeah.
Crazy. I was like, no, he's pretty. He's
Yeah.
like, no, dude, you're in the right place, man. Like they would have loved him. They would have been like, oh yay, pretty boy. No, he's with the IFBB now. So.
Well, the thing is, I think IFBB is more competitive, and so you have to be prepared when you join IFBB that you're going to lose a lot.
Yes, you do. You are. You're going to lose more than you win.
Whereas I feel like in FMG, your chances of winning are potentially higher.
Yeah.
I feel like, if you're going into IFBB, you're like, I have to be prepared to lose because it's more competitive.
Yes. Yeah, you've got to be keen to like really push the champion in yourself. I reckon it's just another league, but it was cool to watch the FMG, and hopefully they do better this year in New Zealand, because I know it's not our league and not our federation, but it was quite small turnout for the first one. So hopefully, I'm just hoping that they do well, Okay, so big question. Saved it for the Instagram questions, but goals for 2026 and what would be your dream pro show?
Yeah. So originally, before this whole clinic thing appeared, I was planning to go over into the US in May and do New York. And Pittsburgh, because my brother lives half an hour from the venue in New York. So it would have, and my parents are going to be there at the show time. It would have been perfect, but that's literally like a month after my clinic opening, and so the timing just wouldn't be right. I just need to give this new space the energy and love that it needs to get it up and running in the right place. So we will push the shows out just a couple of months, and I'll look at doing around July, August, do some shows.
Yeah, there's plenty around then too, eh? So
I also really want to do a Tim Gardner show, because after Hawaii show, Tim messaged me and said, "Are you coming to Florida?" And I was like,
the Miami show.
Are you going to pay for me to come to Florida? because like, well, if you pay for me. So yeah, he was like, he's basically said, we'd love to see you there. And I was like, fuck.
I'll do my best. I'll try.
Yeah. So I definitely want to go and do some of his shows, because he puts on a great production. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. The promoters over there, just another level in the States. It's so cool. So that would be awesome. So keep an eye out for Shawn back on stage next year. So definitely you're planning next year is like you'll be up there at some point. It's just
absolutely. I'm going to do July, August, and then definitely end of the year as well. So there'll be 2 blocks of shows.
Of course, the end of the year it's the Olympia. Yeah. Lock it in, girl. Go to Vegas. We'll take it down a notch. But and if there's another TOC, you never know if that might pop up. So next, bikini color.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brazen about asking for that. What would you've done a few now? You've done a few colors. What have you done? Pink, blue, green. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
What would be your next, or what is there one you haven't done that you would like though?
I think I really liked the blue for my New Zealand shows, but I loved the pinks.
Yeah, same. My favorite.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to lean more towards like the pinks and the raspberries, not like fluoro pink, but more like a deeper pink.
I love that, babe. Yeah, another like there's even just versions of that. Hey, it's so beautiful, so good. Would you ever do red?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't get a lot of like power feeling from red like a lot of people do. I feel like the pinks and the raspberries bring out more of my personality.
Yeah, I agree totally, 100%. I got 2 more questions through today that just like some people sent through last minute, so I'll quickly add them in. One was from, I've forgotten his name. Oh no, I'm having a mind blank. The MC Usher out the back, he's always out there. His name's Oompa on Instagram. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. He said that you make the best cinnamon and raisin loaf that he's ever had, and he was like, I need more of that. So I had to put that in there, because you make like sourdoughs and freaking, what bread are you making at the moment? What's on the routine?
So for Christmas Day we are having apple cinnamon sourdough rolls.
How do you not eat them all? Surely you eat a little bit.
During prep, I'm pretty good. I won't obviously eat them. But then, girl, she gets eaten after.
It's just carbs. It's
Yeah,
good.
it's good. And it's like sourdough is fantastic for your gut.
It is. It digests better out of most breads. Come on,
Yeah,
guys. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
perfect. So, oh, nice, babe. I love that. And then last question from one of the girlies who's competing next year for the first time. She asked for tips for first timers. Do you remember what your first time was like? Do you have any tips for her?
Yeah, honestly, but just like any show, you got to be all in. You got to go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, leave no stone unturned. Because then if you get on stage and you don't place as well as you thought you would, you can look back and be like, well, there was nothing more I could have done. So what can I complain about? You know, like there was literally nothing more I could have done. So yeah, going into a show with that feeling, being like, I did every single posing session I should have. I did all my cardio. I put 100% into my weights. I didn't skip a meal. I didn't, overeat. Then you've achieved the goal, haven't you?
Yeah, no guilt at the end of the day. You don't want
Yeah.
that. You don't want that on your shoulders. And if I can just add something, don't fire your coach after show day. Keep them going for a reverse diet, please, honey. Especially for your first one, just some control and just you'll be fine. But first one's always a fucking nightmare. For all of us. We all complain about it, but if you're sticking through it for the next season, you'll be fine. It gets easier. You've got some new sponsors, babe. Like you've been working. I'm so proud of you. She's a pro now. She's got sponsors already within the same year. Tell us about them. So who are they? What are your codes? Give us the plugs.
Yeah, absolutely. So my latest sponsor is Basic Supplements, who have just recently come into the New Zealand market. So freaking stoked that I got approached by them, and yeah, they are giving me a huge amount of support for next year. I'm just so incredibly grateful, and yeah, stoked that I get to work with them because their products are like so good. And they kind of stand for everything that I really stand for as well, as far as like basic and not putting in products into our bodies that we don't really need. All their products are third party tested, which is really important. And also they're like, when they tell you how much protein is in a jar, it's not on a dry factor, it's actually on a tub. So the protein to do with weight, so like if you scooped a dry powder when they originally make it in the factory, it might be like 25 grams of protein, but by the time that it's actually got to your house, it might actually only be like 20 grams of protein, whereas basic supplements are done at that end result. So what they're telling you you're getting is what you're actually getting.
They're so good, babe. Look at you. How much you know about the brand already. I love it. She's not just like, oh yeah, cool, a brand, let's work with it. Like,
no. I definitely like looked into them and I was like, tell me all about yourselves. And yeah, they're kind of like the big boys as far as they make a lot of other companies' supplements as well.
Cool.
So they're the big boys. They know what they're doing. Their quality control is impeccable.
I love it. So, and what are you using from like the range at the moment? Like, what are your go-tos just for now, for like your recovery phase, off season?
So I'm just using a lot of their whey products.